Are you curious about the driver market for Formula One in 2023? Where does the upcoming silly season stand now? The driver lineups for Formula One's major teams are all theoretically set for 2023. Today, we'll look at the exciting driver roster for Formula One 2023. Welcome to yet another fascinating video. Before getting into the video, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell symbol to be notified when a new video is posted. We can now return to the video. The silly season is well underway, with the Formula One summer break quickly approaching and teams already attempting to secure their desired driver lineups. The top half of the grid is mainly under contract, but McLaren's revelation that Daniel Ricciardo's deal might be cancelled before 2023 is a wonderful example of how much it actually matters. Add to that conjecture over whether Lewis Hamilton and a number of other world champions will want to continue at Mercedes after their contracts expire in 2022. Sergio Perez has agreed to a 2-year contract extension with Red Bull. The new contract was reached earlier in the race weekend, but it arrived just in time after the Mexican surged to his third career victory, this time on the streets of Monaco, after starting third on the grid. The signing of Sergio Perez to a new 2-year contract by Red Bull leaves McLaren as the top team with a substantial degree of driver pairing uncertainty, making McLaren crucial to the driver market. In the case of the Indianapolis 500, it's not assured that Daniel Ricciardo will race for the team in 2023 because his contract has a brake provision that can be used. But the concluding portion of Brown's statement was a little strange. It's implied that Ricciardo must make a decision, and we understand that this is because it's Ricciardo who has the option of triggering a brake clause, so it's essential to ask if Ricciardo wants to keep going if the results stay the same. Ricciardo is a fiercely competitive character whose struggles at McLaren have surprised him as much as anyone else, and he's not shying away from tough questions about his form and contract. There is no indication that McLaren is plotting a light-hearted exit for Ricciardo, like paying him or directing him to drive elsewhere. Still, McLaren will decide to stick with it, or he will conclude that it's not working just now and that it's in his best interest if Ricciardo leaves McLaren. Then maybe try to encourage Ricciardo to do what he and McLaren have said many times, all of their energies to do this job. If they can, he has no reason to wonder if Ricciardo stays. But if at least they can't afford him to continue, and if Ricciardo decides it's best to leave McLaren, then it'll be the hottest ticket in town. As Red Bull is now wholly off limits, many fans have picked Pierre Gasly as a driver who they believe would be a worthy substitute for Ricciardo. Gasly would undoubtedly be interested in McLaren because it's one of the few teams that would offer a significant step forward from AlphaTauri rather than a sideways shift. When attacking corner entries, Gasly has a similar driving style to Ricciardo, which has been Ricciardo's weakness at McLaren, so that may be a red flag for McLaren in terms of seeing Gasly as a real option. Still, Gasly's management should be knocking down doors at work. Otherwise, they won't be doing their jobs. Perez's new deal has been in the works for a while, but it reinforces the hard belief that Red Bull simply didn't believe Gasly was the best short, medium, or long-term choice for the senior team, which means he's free to do anything he wants now that his current contract expires in 2023. He has the option of continuing with AlphaTauri, somewhere that'll bring out the best in him and let him be a team leader. And that's a project that Gasly has long talked up in terms of its potential to become a better team in its own right. But is it really possible? Gasly was enraged at the team for squandering such an excellent opportunity in Monaco in a season that has fallen short of expectations. He said it was just the latest error that irritated him, implying that he's running out of patience, especially given that his AlphaTauri also underachieved in 2021, despite his car's outright pace and the fact that he had his best personal season. Gasly is a race winner and has starred in the midfield with AlphaTauri, but he was also a letdown at Red Bull in the first half of 2019, and the team gave the impression he had the wrong approach at times and that prestige will have stuck in some parts of the paddock since then. Sebastian Vettel's 2022 season got off to a bad start, missing the first 2 races due to COVID-19 and then having a crash-filled weekend in Australia upon his return. Still, things have improved since then, and an Aston Martin that was uncompetitive in the first few races has now finished 8th for the season, 10th in Monaco, and would have scored points in Miami, but for a late collision with Mick Schumacher. The question now is whether or not Vettel wants to stay in Formula One and whether Aston Martin believes he's the best driver available. In Spain, Aston Martin unveiled a significant aerodynamic upgrade, a package that has only recently begun to show its full potential. This implies that the performance Aston Martin unleashes in the future races could determine whether Vettel wants to stay with the team or even stay in Formula One at all. In July, Fernando Alonso will have turned 41, and while his spot at Alpine is yet to be determined for 2023, he has shown no indications of slowing down. Alfonso is motivated to race in Formula One for another 2 or 3 years, and given the driver market landscape, remaining at Alpine appears to be by far his best option. As Alpine has Esteban Ocon signed up until the end of 2024, Alonso's fate is intertwined with that of Oscar Piastri's. But as Alonso has argued, it's about performance rather than age, despite the results this season not being as good as hoped. Alonso retired in Saudi Arabia due to a broken water pump, and Imola suffered side pod and floor damage after Mick Schumacher turned and collided with him. Alonso also had a hydraulic leak while on the lap that looks like it'll earn him a second-row grid position in Australia, 2-time penalties that cost him points in Miami, and then traffic congestion in Q1 that put him well down the grid in Spain even before a power unit change. So, Alonso is doing his job on track, and the only real question is whether Alpine decides it needs to give Piastri his first F1 break in its own team. However, Alonso will likely to be retained for the 2023 season. Piastri, the reigning Formula 2 champion, missed out on an F1 drive for 2022, which was a huge disappointment. But it's the kind of thing that can happen if he stays off the grid for a second season, which would be a huge injustice given his junior record. If Alonso stays, Piastri's clear route into Formula 1 via Alpine remains closed. However, if a space arises elsewhere on the 2023 grid, it would be in Alpine's best interest for its hot commodity to find a drive for next year rather than be left on the sidelines again. So there's a good chance a temporary move elsewhere may come with a Renault-owned team's consent. We've already heard whispers of strong interest from Williams, which would almost certainly be a move Alpine would approve for 2 reasons. First, putting Piastri in direct rivalry with the parent team would be implausible. Second, Williams has proven a readiness to take a driver on loan from another team, which is how he got Alex Albon in his car from Red Bull this year. Where things could become difficult is if a team gives Piastri an excellent prospect, but only if Alpine entirely frees him. Lewis Hamilton is under contract with Mercedes until the end of 2023, although there were rumblings not long ago that he was examining his options in the wake of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix catastrophe. Because of Mercedes' stuttering start to the new technical regulations this year, Hamilton will have to stay for the final year of his contract if he wants another shot at an 8th world title. However, if he doesn't see enough signs of improvement over the rest of the season to make him believe he'll have a title-contending car in 2023, he'll have to leave. Is it possible for him to flee? Crazier things have happened in Formula 1, and an unexpected vacancy at Mercedes based on current form would shock the F1 driver market. If we've made it to the end of the video, please leave your valuable remarks in the comment space below. Thank you for watching the video. If you found it interesting, please give it a thumbs up.